Hello, Brother Nash. How are you? Please post my story as anonymous. I am a Zimbabwean woman. I am currently back home in Zim, and I want to confess some of the things that happened when I was still in South Africa. I will never forget it. I nearly lost my daughter. She died for a couple of minutes, but then she came back to life. When she came back to life, she told us stories of her seeing a great white light that she was looking at, and then she had a voice. She said that this was the voice of her uncle, who was the eldest one in the family that her dad was born into. Me and her dad, we had already divorced by the time that she became sick and she nearly passed away. So there is a secret that me and my mom, we are the only ones that know about this secret. We decided that we were never going to tell anyone, but I so wish to share it with you so that you can tell people there in South Africa, where I used to work, about some dark secrets that happen in the second-hand clothes market in that country. I arrived in South Africa. It was in the year 2014. My name is Jeza. By the way, do not share my profile with anyone. And if I make any mistake to say my real name, please, you can just correct it. So I will call myself Jeza. I first landed in South Africa. It was in the year 2014. My husband, he used to be a police officer here in Zim, and then he saw that his own age mates, the ones that were going to South Africa, they were coming back, some of them even driving cars and starting to build. That was when he sat with me down and he said, my wife, how about I leave this job as a police officer, then I go to South Africa and I work for our family, which was good by me. I did not have any problem with that. So then my husband, he arrived in South Africa. He started working in Johannesburg. But my husband, the moment that he saw women in South Africa, they confused him so much. I had to be forced by my husband's family because he stayed for nearly 2 years. We did not even know if he was alive or if he was not alive. We did not even know what was happening to him in South Africa. He would use one phone number. When I speak with him, he would only reply once, and then he would change the SIM card that he would have been using. So my father-in-law then said that he was going to sell one of his cows so that I can get some money and I can be able to use it to travel to South Africa. And he did so. It was a painful experience to see your in-laws going with their cow to the auction so that they can get some quick cash. And they did not mind how much they were going to be given because they just wanted to know if their son was alive. And they had that belief that if his wife was going to be with him, then he would be willing to return back to Zim. So when I was on the bus, I had other people that I was talking with. These were the people that stayed in the same village as we were staying, so they knew where exactly my husband was staying. My husband, he ran away from me. That is what a man can do to you when he has other women that he is in love with. So my husband, he ran away from me, and then he ended up being in Durban. I worked in Joburg, but because I loved my husband so much, I followed my husband to Durban. We started to stay in Durban, but I was abused by my husband a lot. We stayed together until around 2018, and then I moved out after the Indian man that I was working with said to me, he's going to kill you, because he would even come to the neighborhood where I was working and he would beat me up. So because of the violence that was happening, and I was afraid to get him arrested because I did not have proper papers. I did not understand that you can just go to a police station and you can report the man that is abusing you. So I stayed for a very long time. I was being abused by my husband and I was afraid to make a police report. So my boss in 2019, that was when he moved me from being a maid and I started to work at a warehouse. Working there, my job, it was pretty simple. We would receive tons of secondhand clothes. I can say most of the clothes that you guys buy in different provinces in South Africa, if they have come through Durban, I used to sort out those clothes. So these clothes, they would come in huge compressed bales from overseas, other parts of Africa. Hey, the ones that come from other parts of Africa, guys never buy them because the things that I witnessed, it is not okay. We would sort them, repackage them, and ship them off to other provinces in South Africa, sometimes across the border back to my country. The money that I was making, Indians, they don't pay. And it did not matter whether you were Zimbabwean or you were South African. The pay that we were making, it was literally nothing. We were just struggling. We were not making any good money at all. So I then started to learn that the people there, they were making some deals. Everyone was just doing some deals and everyone was just trying to make it to the end of the month, since we were getting paid small amount of money. So the other people that I was working with, eventually they taught me how to do the deals with them as well, and we would steal some of the clothes and we would sell them in the locations where we were staying. By then I was staying in a different location and my ex-husband did not know where exactly I was staying. Since the money was too little, then we started to steal the clothes and we would sell it to other Somalians, other people that had your boutiques but not selling expensive clothes. And I started to stealing the best items. Slowly you would take one cloth there from this bale, from another bale, and by the end of the day you have nice clothes, then you sell them in the location, taking premium jackets, dresses, children's clothes out of the warehouse. As for me, I did not do what other people that I was working with were doing, just selling for cheap price. I did not sell them in the location, but I would bundle them up and send them straight to Zim, because I was now dating a guy that was from Malawi, but he was a truck driver. Whenever he was in Durban, I would go to him and then I would give him the clothes so that he can go and give them to my mom. So that was what I was doing, and this is how I started to make a lot of money. My mother back home in Zim, she was the one that was selling the items. We live in a village. It is just outside, on the outskirts of Harare. Started selling the clothes to the local village people, and we were making money because the villagers, if they did not have real cash, they would sell ground nuts, sweet potatoes, exchanging with the clothes that my mom had. And these were cheap quality clothes and they were secondhand clothes. We were making good money. My mom, she was no longer worried about me sending money to him because she was living off from that business that we were doing. But what we did not know was that these secondhand clothes, they come with different cases. I am not lying to you. These clothes, they come with cases. This I saw for my own self. I did not even know that these clothes that you wear that are secondhand, they come with different cases. So as we were doing our business by 2020, 2021, my mom developed a severe unexplained skin rash that made her to look like she had skin cancer. Went to different doctors, even brought her to South Africa. And then I had my young brother, Lovejoy. He broke his leg twice in the same year, and we could not understand. So it was in late 2022. That was when my mom was said to be a witch after one of her little sister had passed away. When she was sick, she claimed that she saw my mother holding a clay pot wanting to sacrifice her. And when someone that is severely sick, when they start to say things like that, you know very well that everyone is going to say that this person that is sick, there is no reason for them to lie that this relative of mine is the one that is bewitching me. So my mother, she was accused of witchcraft because of what was happening in the family. I did not know what to do. I was full of pain. I was full of anger that people were accusing my mother of witchcraft. Yet I believed in my heart that my mother, she was not a witch at all. We were so desperate. Then I traveled back to Zim because my mother, she was close to dying, and they were celebrating because she was like having skin cancer, and they said that my mother's little sister, we had passed away. She was fighting my mother from the grave because my mother is a witch. So they were happy. They were saying that my mother is supposed to die so that there can be peace in the family. It was just painful, brother. And I then took my mother. I was even afraid of my mother, but there is nothing that I could do because she is my mother. You cannot throw away your mother because people are saying that she is a witch. Even though I was afraid of my own mother, but I would go to her and I was staying with her at my own house, but I was afraid, especially at night, if I would hear any movement at all, I would run outside because I was always afraid at all the times. So I then heard about this other sangoma. So we did not go to sangomas quite often because in our church it is a prophetic church. By then I did not like to go to that prophetic church because my husband, he was a prophet. He was even assisting people in Durban, but yet he was abusing me. He was violent. He was sleeping with the women that would come to be assisted by him. So I had said that I have had enough with these prophets. I don't want to have anything to do with these prophets anymore. So I did not want to go to any prophetic church at that time. So what happened was that I had someone that told me that there was this other sangoma. This sangoma was staying in a village that is in Seke area. So we went to that powerful sangoma, me and my mom. We went in secret. The moment that we arrived at that sangoma's house, your brother, if you dealt with sangomas, I was going to give you the phone number of this sangoma so that you can interview him and he can tell you that everything that I'm sharing with you, it is nothing but the truth. Have you ever been to a sangoma whereby when you go to that sangoma, the sangoma will tell you not to say anything, nothing. That is what the sangoma said. Do not tell me anything because I am going to explain everything to you. So the sangoma told us why we were there. He told us our names. And then he asked me and he said, I can see that you have been bringing the clothes of dead people into your mother's house. Why are you doing such a thing, young woman? And at first I did not understand. It did not click in my mind when he said that I was bringing clothes that belonged to dead people into my mother's house. And I said, no, I've never brought any clothes that belong to a dead person. And then that was when he said, oh, you don't know that these clothes that you are bringing from Zululand, those clothes, they belong to dead people. So I did not know that culturally, when the ancestors are talking about South Africa, they don't say South Africa, but they say Zululand. So I did not understand what he meant by that. And I said, I've never been to a place like that. That was when the interpreter said to me, have you ever been to South Africa before? And I said, yes, I've been to South Africa. And he said, yes, that is what Sekuru is saying, meaning the ancestral spirit that had possessed the Sangoma at that time. So then that was when I was told that I had been collecting clothes that belonged to dead people in Zululand and bringing them back to Zim. And I said, no, I have never done such a thing, but I used to work at a warehouse where we were stealing clothes and we were doing this. Everyone in the company was doing that because the Indians were paying us small money. And then the spirit said, yes, those clothes, some of them, they have been used in rituals whereby a person that would have died in the family in West Africa, then they do not know if this person was a money ritualist or not. Does not matter if it is Louis Vuitton. They just send them away because they are afraid that maybe their dead relative, with all the unexplained money that he had, maybe their dead relative was actually a ritualist. So brother, when I heard this, I was surprised. I was shocked. Even my mom, she was struggling to walk. She stood up and she started to cry. The sangoma explained the truth behind your secondhand clothes. Many of those clothes, they don't just belong to living people who donated them. A lot of them, they are taken from the dead people, some who died even in car crashes, people who die of strange diseases, or clothes used in occultic rituals overseas in India. When a person dies under a covenant and you start to wear their clothes without cleansing them, you inherit that person's problems. The sangoma told me that the other sangomas and the elders from the village, everything that they were saying about my mother, it was right. I said, what do you mean when you say that everything that the elders from the village were saying about my mom is right? And he said, I can even see that your mother, she has the spirits of dead people that are following him. And when someone sees the spirits of dead people following you, what do you think? You are a witch. And he said that my mother, who was being accused of witchcraft, it was because she was hosting an entire graveyard inside of her own house. She was sleeping with dead people and she was supposed to be cleansed. And I had never seen how a cleansing of a witch happens. This is what happened. That sangoma then took a black chicken and made my mother to bite that black chicken, and then the blood, as it was flowing, she had to wash her breast, her nipples, including her face, including that blood, as well as to remove the markings that were now on her back, which were making other witches to wake her up, calling her so that they can go with my mother to do their witchcraft business. After the cleansing, which took a couple of hours, and when my mother had vomited a lot of strange white stuff, that was when we returned back home. When we returned back home, my mother started to be okay. She was sweating a lot, but she could walk, she could eat. We were even afraid, as you know, that some of us, we believe that when someone has been sick for a very long time, once they start to eat, it seems as if maybe they are about to die. But my mother, she did not die. She ate and everything was okay. When we were about to go to bed, that was when my mom woke up and said, let us gather every single piece of secondhand clothing that we have and let us burn them. We made a massive fire in the yard and we burned them all. The clothes were burning, Brother Nashi. I felt as if there was something that was moving, like a spirit of a dead person. I really do not know how to explain it to you. And to this very day, there are those in the village who still look at my mother with the hatred that she is a witch. And I am still working right now. I do not have a great job here in Zim, but I am grateful that I left that job that I was doing in South Africa, where I used to sell the secondhand clothes to other people, because I did not know that the people that were buying the clothes from me, they were also inviting the spirits into their own homes. This is my confession. If you have the secondhand clothes inside of your home, maybe you need to consult, maybe you need to pray, so that those that know the things of the spirit, they can tell you what is really happening in your life, because you might be protecting evil spirits inside of your home, and those evil spirits, they will be giving you bad luck, and you end up thinking that there are those that hate you, that are bewitching you, without you even realizing that you are the one that is bewitching yourself. Dear listeners, right, there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. That was a translation. Let us try to speak with our DM sister in the comment section. Strange, strange things indeed. They do happen in this world. Have you ever bought secondhand clothes? What happened after you had bought them? You can tell me. You can come with your story to our inbox on Facebook. I'll be back with another episode.